Welcome back, Maestros. It's Composered here, and today I'm going to be showing you more on melodies and rhythms this time, and also we're going to be tying in harmony. So this is going to be a combo video, basically getting your first piece off the ground. So here is your first piece. Look at that. There it is. So if you guys followed along and wrote down this same piece, then you should have these four measures written in on your score. But before we get too far, I want to remind you guys, use that comment section down below to ask any questions you might have, and make sure you subscribe to keep updated with new videos as they come out. So let's get into it here. What we need to do next is focus on rhythm. So this is kind of a bland melody. It still sounds nice and it would still work, but it's not going to win you any awards. So what we want to do is maybe try and expand this a little bit. So we're going to get rid of some of these measures, and I know what we're going after, so I can kind of remember. Oh, there's a D that we didn't want. Then we'll end with a half note there. Now this melody is a little bit more dynamic, it's a little bit more interesting. Now, let's see what it sounds like. So that's pretty nice, you know, that sounds like something you would hear in a concert, and I personally like it a lot. So, next, what you would need to do, this is a nice melody, but you can't just have somebody standing on stage playing by themselves. Well, you could, but it would have to be really exceptional. But this is a piano piece, so you have a double line, you have a bass line, and you have the melody line. Now for piano, the bass clef line is a little bit more interesting because bass clef is written down on a space lower than C would normally be written. So C is written second space down on treble clef, but it's written third space down on the bass clef. So for harmony, that makes it a little bit interesting for bass clef instruments if you haven't memorized it a little bit, but we can work around that a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creating chords, and chords are a great way to do harmony. Now you can do a chord with just as many as 3 notes. 3 notes are nice and simple. So we are using the C major scale, and we mentioned that last video, and as you can see there are no sharps and no flats, so no changes to any notes that we need to worry about. So since it's C major, we are going to be using C major chords. So this C major chord is based off of a C, E, and a G. There's our first C major chord, and let's see how that fits in with the melody. So I only played a little snippet, but let's hear that again. Yeah, that sounds really nice. I am happy with that. So actually, we'll change that into whole notes. Make it a little bit longer so it covers the entire measure. Now let's hear the rest of the melody so we can hear how we want to harmonize it. Okay, I think I know what we want to do. Not an A. I think a G chord would fit in nicely there because we are kind of basing it off of a G. A little bit. It's still on the C major scale, but G tones, G chord tones are more important. As you can see, there's a G, D, D, F. Now those occupy a lot more space than the C major chord tones did in this measure, so I think it would fit. Let's see. And that sounds nice. It gives a little bit of tension to it, and it fits in really well in that measure. Oh my. There we go. So let's hear it now with all of the harmony rhythms. I put in another C major chord underneath the last measure. Now the C major doesn't sound too good on that last measure, but the reason why is it's kind of more of a G based measure. So maybe we'll switch around with these last couple measures. And see, I'm just using my arrow keys to manipulate, which is really nice. You just click on the note you want to change and then arrow key. There we go. So let's try that now. Switch around those G chords and the C chords. That sounds really good, yeah, because this melody fits more in line with the G because it's resolving on a G. Now resolving, for those of you who are still relatively new, resolving is the final note of a phrase or final note of a song. So when you hear the word resolve, that means the note that your melody ends on, most likely. So that's why it's resolving on a G, so it's kind of best to fit in with a G chord because most of those notes are in a G chord. But this one still sounds nice on a C chord because it's kind of equally split, so you can go either way there. So that is the basics of harmony. So rhythm is another important concept, and secretly this whole time, don't tell anyone, we've been using rhythm. Now this is a rhythm. These are eighth notes, and that's basic rhythm. This whole note chord is also a rhythm. Rhythm is just based off of the time signature and the speed of the piece, and also how you want your melody to go. So if I was like to clap a rhythm, that's a rhythm, and it's based on a certain tempo and time signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the tempo and also the time signature, but I would clap. That might be a little bit of a different rhythm, but it's all based on those two things. And you can sing your rhythm or clap your rhythm however you want to do it, but then that translates into what notes you choose to put in your page. So like if I was to do those, if you heard those notes, those are 16th notes because I was doing a tempo ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Those are 16th notes. So if you're singing that fast, then those are most likely 16th notes. And you can fiddle around with that in your own melodies, or if you're following along too, you can kind of experiment. But based on your tempo choice, so this is the basic tempo of 120. It's not even specified on there, but 120 beats per minute. And that's how fast your song progresses. And then this is 4/4 time. So 4 beats in a measure. So there are quarter notes are equivalent to 1 beat here because the 4 on the bottom is like saying 1/4, so a quarter gets the beat. So quarter notes are getting the beat designation, and then there are 4 beats in a measure. So eighth notes are 2 halves of a quarter note. So you can see there's a beat, those 2, there's a beat, and then those 2 are beat right there. So that's how you would split up a measure. And then 16th notes, 4 of those occupy 1 beat, and so it would be 1 E and a 2 E and a. So 1 and 2 are the beat counts, and then E and are the in between. So that's what's all contained in 1 beat. So you can kind of sing that to yourself, and when you get a little bit more of a handle on it, then you can start implementing that in your piece. But for now, you can just use the basic rhythms like quarter notes, eighth notes, and that's how I really got to start into it. And another good thing you can do is try and find songs that you enjoy and clap out rhythms or sing the rhythms and things like that. And then you can write down those rhythms and kind of understand what they're using there. Like some certain songs are using a lot of 16th note fast running melodies is what we call them. And then some songs are doing some slower like ballad melodies, which are based on like half notes and slower quarter notes, slower tempos, that sort of thing. You can find that out by listening to your own favorite music. It's all in there. So definitely check that out. But for this part, I think we're done for now. And remember, ask questions down in the comment section, like and share the video, tell your friends if they're interested in music also, and then remember to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Composered.